Okay, thanks again, Tim. Settling here. I was just downstairs a little while ago, and the crowd is just incredible. It's packed to the rafters. Where we view the race from, there's a massive car parking area, and absolutely every available spot has been taken. They've even parked on the trotting circuit, and probably about 30,000, I would say at the least, and they've come to Moonee Valley under absolutely perfect conditions. This new racing surface here, which was built at a cost of $6.2 million, is really state-of-the-art stuff. And before the opening of the track here, a little over a month ago, I went over to the racecourse manager's office to have a look at the system they've got there, and it's fully computerised with sensors at 57 different points around the course. The inside rail, the middle of the track, and then near the outside rail, and at the flick of a computer switch, Ian Trevethan, the manager here, can monitor soil temperature, air temperature, soil moisture, even the level of fertilisers and nitrogens in the course itself. And at the flick of another switch, he can pop on sprinklers for any set amount of time. It's extraordinary that just the computer system they've got to monitor the surface here cost over $40,000. The track itself, $6.2 million. And we really have noticed a terrific difference, particularly today, more so than a month ago. With the banked turns here, horses have been running on from the back of the field. It really will make for something very exciting when they get the lights in and we have night racing, and that's expected to come next year. Now they're moving in for the Moir Stakes. 1,000 metres the journey here. Previous on the program, we saw a very good win to Donar from the John Hawkes team. Brought up an early double for Darren Gauci and John Hawkes. That previous event, the 3-year-old 2,000 metre race on this day, has long been a terrific guide to the Victoria Derby. Last year, Blevick won both. Northwood Plume was runner-up, and she went on to win the Oaks. The Moir coming up here. Sequalo, a winner of it last year. Scalacci took it in 92 with me, 2 in a row, 90 and 91. Placid Arc won it in 87, Special 86, Bold Jet 83, Manicato won it in 82. Just a small field of 8 to run, and the last one getting set now is going to be Moss Rocket. He fairly flew the barrier at Caulfield. He's an exciting sprinter. He was wound right up for that win last week. He certainly doesn't look to have gone backwards in condition. Poetic King, dazzling win here last time. They're set to go. Ready for the first of the big races on Cox Plate Day. And away, Moss Rocket flew the gate again on the outside. Aussie Cozzy was away with him. Tishan Moon jumped well. Quality Gold got back a little bit in the early stages and pushing through Poetic King. Moss Rocket can't cross them at the 800. Aussie Cozzy booting up on his inside. Chief De Beers is there as well, and then Sequalo pushing up to 4th. Oh, Tishan Moon got knocked out of the race there. Going forward then was Poetic King up to 5th, and they're followed by Quality Gold. Tishan Moon back to 2nd last. 3 Fighter Bay. Moss Rocket eventually worked across them. Led by a length and a quarter here. Chief De Beers 2nd, Sequalo hard-ridden 3rd, Poetic King is there 4th. Aussie Cozzy drops out, followed then by Quality Gold, Tishan Moon, Fighter Bay. Moss Rocket at the 250, Thompson hasn't gone on him, turns around the bend, 2.5 in front of Sequalo. Poetic King to the outside, Moss Rocket the leader, 2 lengths Sequalo, Poetic King and Quality Gold on the outside, but Moss Rocket is clear, he's 2 lengths Sequalo. Quality Gold is getting out of the ground, Moss Rocket is stopping, Quality Gold grabbed him and won. Quality Gold in the last stride beat Moss Rocket. Photo 3rd, Sequalo the inside and Poetic King. They were followed in by Fighter Bay and Tishan Moon, Chief De Beers and Aussie Cozzy at the tail.
Number 9, Quality Gold in the last stride to pay over $15 and $2.80 from 1, Moss Rocket 120. Photo for 3rd between 2, Sequalo 190 and 3, Poetic King 140.
Quality Gold is the winner. This is a 3-year-old colt, a stablemate of our Mays K, another 3-year-old who's to tackle the Cox Plate at 3:30 this afternoon. This fellow, trained by Grant Searle and ridden by Shane Dye, has absolutely stormed into the finish. The last 100 metres he's lifted magnificently, and this colt has scored a fantastic win in the race time of 58 seconds, 58.3 seconds. Now, number 3 has got third, Poetic King. Sequato's finished fourth, so numbers are 9, 1 and 3. 9, 1 and 3, Quality Gold defeating Moss Rocket and Poetic King, 9, 1 and 3. Peter Booth is down in the mounting yard, and he has Patrick Hyland with him again. Quality Gold, a sensational winner there, Peter.
Yes, Greg, yes, Pat Hyland with me. A sensational win by Quality Gold. I think Greg may have mentioned it too in the preview about 5 minutes before the race. But I watched it on television. Pat, Moss Rocket couldn't get to the front.
No, he couldn't get to the front. They put plenty of pressure on him early. And, well, the winner came home over the top of them. But I think that's, you know, won a Class 3 at its last start. So it was a bit hard to have against those sort of horses, but quite obviously it's got plenty of ability.
Thank you, Pat. And the winner's time is 58.3. So the winner of the fourth race, the Moir Stakes, number 9, Quality Gold. Greg, back to you.
OK, Peter, we're just awaiting the official totes, but we have got an early market on the Cox Plate. Just everyone, the strong support in the betting ring at Moonee Valley here has definitely been for the 3-year-old Our Maze K. He opened up about a point longer than Dane Wynn, but it's swung around now. Dane Wynn has been quite easy on track. Our Maze K has come in for solid support. Right now they're equal favourites. Third pick is Jern, who's been a little bit easy, and then Mahogany, who has been a firmer. And the next best is Octagonal. Last year's winner of Big Drifter Solvit, he is out to 20 to 1. Much of the talk for the week has been whether Our Maze K can stay. The way the putters have sorted it out, it's an emphatic yes. The race plan from Brian York seems to be that from the extreme outside barrier, he is going to jump, cross the field, put the brakes on and wait for Solvit to come around the outside and lead him up. If that's the case, if he can have just a little bit of a rest at some stage, we might just be thrilled by his explosive pace. And if that's the case, the 30-odd thousand that are here at Moonee Valley will lift the roof. There isn't a more popular racehorse in the field. There's no doubt about that. On Super Tab, probably with the amount of money that would be in support for Damien Oliver, Dane Wynn still holds favouritism at 480 and 190. He is being pressed now by Our Maze K, who's 510 and 250. The third tote favourite is number 3, Mahogany, at $5.50 and $2. He's very, very solid, make no mistake about that. And 2 Jern at $5.60 and $2.40. Well, every vantage point in the course has been taken. The stands are packed to the rafters. Peter Booth and Pat Hyland have a pretty good vantage point down in the mounting yard.
Yes, Greg, it's fairly cool down here too, but Pat Hyland, Our Maze K, Greg was saying it's been very heavily backed. Barrier 15, how do you assess it, the 3-year-old?
Oh, I think he's going to be battling a little bit, Peter. You know, from 15 barrier and with Solvit and Stony Bay in the race, there's going to be a lot of pressure. He won't get it all his own way like he did in the Guineas. I think it'll be I don't know, he may be exceptional, but I think he has to be exceptional to win this race.
Now, what about the more experienced horses, Jern and Mahogany and last year's winner, Solvit?
I think the race is going to be put on for Jern and Mahogany because of the pace of the race. Solvit is going to be in a similar situation to Stony Bay and Our Maze K because he's going to be up there getting pressure put on him all the time. But I have a feeling that it's going to suit the horses coming home. With Jern and Mahogany, I think they've been geared for this race, and I think they're the horses to beat in the race.
What about Dane Wynn from Barrier 1 and the other 3-year-old Octagonal?
Yes, well, I probably like Octagonal a little bit more than Our Maze K from the point of view that he might stay a little bit better. Dane Wynn, yes. I don't know about Dane Wynn. You know, he's got huge raps in Sydney, but I just wonder how good he is, really.
Horse is about to come onto the track here at Moonee Valley. And Pat, it's 30 years ago, virtually today, since you won the Cox Plate on Star Affair. Did it have the same glitter about it back 30 years ago?
Well, it was still the best weight race in Australia to win, but you know, the hype of the Cox Plate has been built up dramatically in the last probably 10 or 15 years, I think. But it was something special to win it, yes.
OK, so finally, Pat Hyland, your top 3 for the Cox Plate as the horses come out onto the track.
I think Jern, Mahogany and Our Maze K, only because he's very good.
OK, thanks, Pat Hyland. We'll be speaking with Pat after the Cox Plate and the horses coming out onto the track, as I said. Back to Greg Miles.
OK, Peter, 3-year-olds have a wonderful record in the Cox Plate. If they're very good, they can win it. Red Anchor scored back in 1984. He was the last 3-year-old to win it. But since him, horses certainly of far lesser ability than our Mays K and Octagonal have run very well. Roman Artist and Drawn ran second and third, in fact, in 1985 behind Rising Prince. In 87, our Poetic Prince finished second to Rubiton. He came back to win it the following year. In 1989, Stylish Century was beaten in a photo by Almorad, who at the time was probably one of the best ever imports to come to this country. In 1990, Canny Lad finished third to Better Loosen Up, and in 1992, Slight Chance finished in third place behind Superimpose. Shane Dye rode both Slight Chance and Canny Lad. And can you tell by the roar of the Melbourne crowd, Shane Dye was just introduced. They still haven't forgotten Viander Cross. They're out doing their preliminaries now. There's never been a more intriguing Cox Plate. Of that, I'm quite certain. And the punters have answered with their pockets. They believe that the 3-year-old will be able to win our Mays K. They're out doing their preliminary gallops now. The running of the $1.5 million Cox Plate just a few minutes away. We'll be back with a call in about 3 minutes.
Greg Miles at Moonee Valley.
Thanks, Tim. The stalls are being closed in front now at the top of the straight at Moonee Valley. Moonee Valley has a special kind of hype as it builds to the running of the race every year. Replays of the past Cox Plate are run over the amplification system and also on the on-course television monitors, and it just seems to whip the crowd into a frenzy before the start. They go right until the jump, and then they're off in the current year's event. The betting still continues downstairs, though. Dane Wynn is going to run favourite. He's the favourite just under each way. Our Mays K easing just ever so slightly as the support continues for Dane Wynn, and then the third pick, Jeune, and then Mahogany. Octagonal, still under double figures, is the next best. A favourite hasn't won the Cox Plate for the past 4 years, but it is a favourites race. In the 11 runnings through 1980 to 90, there were 9 favourites successful. Dane Wynn has barrier 1 and the best 2,000 metres record in the race without any shadow of doubt. This is his distance. This is the race he's been set for since he was very unlucky in it as a 3-year-old last year. 4 of his 5 wins at this distance have been at Group 1 level. The Champion Stakes, the Rosehill Guineas, the Doomben Cup, and last start, of course, in the Caulfield Stakes. He has Damien Oliver on board, and he's the first to be positioned on the inside. Next to him is the New Zealander Pakaraka Star, and then Danarani. Danarani, trained by Bart Cummings. There hasn't been a mare win this race since Flight in 1946. Mr. Marconi is ready. Stony Bay is joined by Station Hand and Seascape. Coming up into the line now is Jeune, Wayne Harris on board, having his first ride in the Cox Plate. As an apprentice, he won a Golden Slipper. Last year, he won a Melbourne Cup on this horse that he rides today. He's after the third of the big trifecta at Australian racing. Mahogany comes in. Just Apollo is set. Solvit is ready. And the field is just about set to go. They're nearly ready. Just 2 to move in. On the outside now, Star Dancer links into the field, and our Mays K will complete the line. They'll roar at the post the first time if he crosses them. Field set. Light. Gates crashed back. Our Mays K brilliantly away on the outside, and York set him straight across the field, and inside 100 he's cleared them easily. Our Mays K 2 lengths in front. Up to second, Stony Bay from Mahogany. Solvit. Dane Wynn dropped in 5th offence. There followed Pakaraka Star, Station Hand around Mr. Marconi. Then came Danarani when they turn out of the straight from Octagonal Seascape. Back behind them when they hit to the 1,600 metre mark then is Just Apollo. Behind her is Jearn and Star Dancer at the 1,500. And the 3-year-old Our Maze K in front. York's not going to surrender the lead. He's about 3/4 in front. Stony Bay. Danewind is third. Solvet fourth. The outside hasn't made his move yet. He's pulling hard. Walsh might have to let him go. Just behind them then is Mahogany, followed by Station Hand and then Pakaraka Star. Just Apollo is Satellite round the outside. Then Mr. Marconi, Danarani, followed by Seasky and Octagonal. Jearn towards the tail end outside Star Dancer. Heading to the 1,000 metre mark. Our Maze K the leader. Here's a half in front, Stony Bay. A length and a half to Danewind, who has a beautiful trail behind the leader. Solvet on the outside. Wonder Mahogany. They're followed then by Just Apollo caught wide. And between horses then came Station Hand, one Pakaraka Star and then Mr. Marconi. Next Octagonal pulling to the outside around Seasky, Danarani. Jearn to the tail end from Star Dancer. Down the side they come. Our Maze K being pressured now at the 600 metre mark. Solvet has gone up to him on the outside. Station Hand around them. Stony Bay's feeling the pinch. Then Mahogany. Danewind getting shuffled back as Our Maze K loses a bit of ground. He got checked and nearly fell, Danewind. At the turn, Station Hand hit the front from Solvet. Here's Octagonal and here comes Jearn. Jearn and Mahogany's pushing through on the inside now. Octagonal hit the lead from Station Hand. Mahogany the rail and then Jearn. Octagonal in front. Mahogany pegging him back on the inside. Mahogany getting to Octagonal from Jearn and Station Hand. Mahogany takes the lead. Octagonal comes again. Octagonal on the outside and Mahogany. Octagonal by a head to Mahogany. Station Hand is third. Jearn fourth. Just Apollo running a mighty race next and then Mr. Marconi. Seasky, Pakaraka Star. Danewind flattened at the turn. Then came Danarani, followed by Stony Bay. Towards the end here is Star Dancer. Solvet. Our Maze K has finished last.
And Octagonal, the 3-year-old, number 14, to pay $9.10 and $2.90, scoring from 3. Mahogany in a terrific finish, $2.20. 5 Station Hand, $6.50.
It's a photo, 14 in the frame, 14 Octagonal. Shane Dye has won the Cox Plate. Number 14, Octagonal. Second, number 3, Mahogany, ridden by Greg Hall. And Station Hand has run third, ridden by Darren Gauci, ahead of Jearn fourth, number 2. The favourite, Danewind, flattened by the second favourite, Our Maze K, coming towards the turn. Our Maze K felt the pinch. He didn't stay. He was struggling at the 500. He lost ground that quickly. That Danewind, through having drawn barrier 1 and following him into the race, had nowhere to go when the little colt felt the pressure. He clipped his heels and he nearly fell over. Octagonal, in the meantime, was riding the bends at the new cambered Moonee Valley, and Dye, knowing that he had his lightweight, made use of him, went to the front. He was clearly headed by Mahogany. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Mahogany got a good half a length in front. But the weights and perhaps a little bit of fitness told in the last 20 metres, and Octagonal was able to put his nose out in front and win by a head and give John Hawkes and the Woodland stud Jack and Bob Ingham, the Chicken Kings, the biggest thrill in their racing careers. Shane Dye, who's won Melbourne Cups, he's won Golden Slippers 4 times. He's got his detractors. There's plenty of them in Melbourne, but the boy can pull out big rides at just the right time on so many occasions. And listen to this extraordinary reception that this boy has given as he comes back to scale on Octagonal. Number 14, joining the likes of 3-year-olds to have won the Cox Plate in the past, the last red anchor back in 1984. You have to be extremely good to do so. And he's done it coming from the back of the field with a wonderful sprint around them. He's been headed and come back to win. Number 14, Octagonal, he's buys the Beal from 8 Carat. And bred by J.A. and P. Hogan. Raced by the Woodland Stud Syndicate, Jack and Bob Ingham, John Hawkes and Shane Dye. Number 3, officially second, Mahogany by Last Tycoon from Al Shandiga. one gets the impression if he'd just been able to have one more run, perhaps he would have been able to hold off, stave off that finish. Half a neck by 2 lengths, the official margins. Time is 2 minutes and 6.3. 2 minutes 6.3. The last 848.9. The last 637.1. The last 425.1. The last 200 in 12.7 seconds. And a mixed reception here for Shane Dye as he returns to scale. I wonder what the reception feels like down in the mounting yard. Peter Vu.
Yes, Greg, we have had Johnny Hawke standing by for a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, he's just gone. But Pat Hyland is here with me. A fighting win, Pat.
Oh, it was marvellous win. But what about the ride of Greg Hall on Mahogany? Was that a super ride? The weight is cold at the end of the race. And quite obviously, Octagonal's an excellent racehorse. Shearn ran very well. I think from a Melbourne Cup point of view, they'd be still very happy with his run. Mays K went too quick out of the straight. And he couldn't win going out the straight. And the speed was on and it was got up for those horses coming from behind.
Okay, thanks, Pat. And you'll join us on Derby Day from Flemington next Saturday. We action from the mounting yard little. We have as far as John Hawkes and his immediate reaction. Although, Greg, we might be able to butt in on the 3 Z interview with Brian Blackmore.
Fantastic horse to train and absolute.
I tell you what, it must have been a nice thrill for you once Darren Gauci, who was going to try and get down to the weight, to be able to pick up Shane Dye.
The right way. In the distance, there wasn't a lot in the finish, but he done his job.
Okay, we're having a few problems there, Peter. That's why we couldn't get you down here when you had John Hawkes. But coming through are the official tape dividends. And the winner, number 14, Octagonal, $9.10 and $2.90. Second, number 3, Mahogany, $2.20. And as Pat pointed out, it was just a class ride by Greg Hall. And third, number 5, Station Hand. A lot of people said he shouldn't be in this race, but he's had now 3 starts over 2,000 metres at weight for age, and he's been placed in 2 Australian Cups and a Cox Plate now. $6.50 the return there. The Quinella is $36.20, $36.20. The Exacta has paid $82 even for numbers 14 and 3, and the double $74.50. And of course, we'll have Pat Hyland back with us for the running of the next race, the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, and a number of these horses also engaged in the Melbourne Cup. Now the trifecta is through on the Cox Plate. It's $1,885.20, $1,885.20 for the numbers 14, 3 and 5. Okay.
Greg Miles at Moonee Valley repeating the numbers there in the Cox Plate. 14, 3 and 5. 14 Octagonal, ridden by Shane Dye from 3 Mahogany and 5 Station Hand. It's been a great day for Shane Dye. He rode Quality Gold to win the Moir Stakes today, and so it's been a special day for Shane Dye. We'll have the Moonee Valley Cup a little later on this afternoon. Repeating the numbers in the Moir Stakes, 9, 1 and 3, 9 Quality Gold from 1 Moss Rocket and 3 Poetic King. But the Cox Plate numbers 14, 3 and 5. Octagonal winning from Mahogany and Station Hand. Well, news just coming through from Japan.
Stalls being closed in front. They're about to be called up for the running of the race this day. The weather has held magnificently in front of a crowd of well over 30,000, I'd suggest. And it's been a lovely, about 19-degree day. The big one so far, Shane Dye, has dominated completely. Winning on the 3-year-old Octagonal, who defeated Mahogany. Station Hand filling third. Some were saying he shouldn't have been in the race, but his weight for age 2000 form. 3 starts for 3 placings in Australian Cups and Cox Plates. And the other big one today, the Moir Stakes, 9, 1 and 3. Grant Searle salvaging something from the day. Our Mays K finished absolute last in the Cox Plate, but his 3-year-old sprinter Quality Gold took out the Moir Stakes, continuing the good run of 3-year-olds in that race. They've won 5 of the past 9 runnings of the event. Our Mays K stopped that quickly when he came past the 400-metre mark in the Cox Plate, that he fell right back on top of Dane Wynn, who was lucky to stand up. And Oliver had nowhere to go. He hadn't even started the Mounties Challenge at the point of the race. And it'll be great disappointment for all connections of Dane Wynn and his supporters, of course, after having been set for the race all year after running 5th in it last year. Ironically, he travelled 3 wide last year, got beat 1.9 lengths. Today he never left the fence and ran into a dead end. It's a cruel game sometimes. Yeah, they're getting set well here. Gossips has gone up with Big Baron. They settled. Pin on the inside is ready in the stalls. She ran 4th in it last year, went on to win a Gold Coast Cup and a Crown Quality since then. She won on protest, of course, in that race. She's been a terrific money spinner for her connections. Coming up here is Bullwinkle. He's got 57. Be a big effort if he can win it today. Richard Cranium stands up in the stalls, and now Tall Lord comes up. Tall Lord hasn't won a race. I think he might have won one since he took out the Sandown Cup a couple of years ago, but he seems to have lost his way completely. He's linked into the stalls now. The Phantom Chance, beautifully drawn in barrier number 2. If he could win, he'd be the first ever Cox Plate winner to come back and win a Melbourne Cup. Now, Quick Ransom is coming into the stalls. He looks to be getting ready very, very well for the Melbourne Cup. Started one of the popular ones in it last year. I think he ran 23rd of 24. He goes into the gates near Storm, and now a presser. He might be the pace in the race, although he's drawn very badly. Turek handicap winner. Coming up into the stalls now. He's ready. And the field of 15 is locked away, set to go for the Moonee Valley Cup. They're all in. The Phantom Chance down in gate 2 next to Pindy. Jimmy Dash standing in well. Spike Short, the rider for Big Baron. They're away. Gates crashed back at the 2500, and Bullwinkle was one of the first out. A presser is ridden for pace near the outside. Campaign Warrior away quickly. The grey Pindy is driving up with Native Zam as they sort themselves out, trying to settle into a good position now. And Toil is up there as well. Now, a presser from the wide gate has worked across the field, and at the turn the first time leads Pindy and Toil. Running 4th on the outside is Campaign Warrior, who's pulling a bit early. Then Native Zam over on the inside, being followed then by Tall Lord. Couple of lengths further back in the field is Storm on the outside there of the Phantom Chance, and they're followed by Bullwinkle. Over on the inside of him then is Big Baron, 2 lengths to the lightweight Cessna. Then Quick Ransom, who has Jimmy Dash, Gossips and Richard Cranium behind him. So at the post the first time, Toil, a distance out, had worked to the lead, 3/4 in front of a presser. Campaign Warrior, the back-end winner, is up 3rd, and they're followed by Pindy, who's 4th on the rail, and then Tall Lord. A length and a half further back in the field is Storm, who's beautifully placed the outside of Native Zam, and 2 lengths to Phantom Chance, who follows Storm. So he's just going to go everywhere Hall goes, I'd say, on the Phantom Chance, Dittman. On the fence then is Big Baron, 1.5 to Gossips over on the inside there, followed by Bullwinkle and then Cessna. Jimmy Dash, Quick Ransom is second last, and Richard Cranium is last. 1300 to go, and Toil the leader. He's off the fence, a presser with the rail as they make that turn at the 1200 metre mark. Campaign Warrior next outside Pindy, 1.5 fifth is Tall Lord, followed by Native Zam. 1 Storm, Big Baron, and then the Phantom Chance, who still follows Storm. 1.5 further back in the field is Gossips from Bullwinkle, and then Cessna the outside of Jimmy Dash. Quick Ransom second last, and Richard Cranium is 15 off the leader. 900 to go. A press of the inside, a neck in front of Toil. A length and a half to Pindy. Campaign Warrior ahead away 4th. A length and a half Tall Lord, Native Zam. 2 lengths to Storm, travelling very well at the 800. 2 lengths then to the Phantom Chance around Big Baron. Gossips hard ridden, followed by Bullwinkle, taken to the outside. Quick Ransom tracking him into the race from Cessna, Jimmy Dash, Richard Cranium. At the 600 now, Toil again went to the lead from a presser, Campaign Warrior. Pindy looking for an out off the inside. Tall Lord around them. Storm running into it. The Phantom Chance, hard ridden, passed by Bullwinkle, and then Native Zam. Quick Ransom is next. He's under a lot of pressure. Toil the leader from Campaign Warrior, but Storm is racing around the turn and into the lead. Bullwinkle is after him, but Storm alight at the bend, led 2.5 from Bullwinkle and Toil, and out wide Quick Ransom, but Storm has gapped them. He's raced 3 now to Bullwinkle. Then Quick Ransom and Cessna, but it's all Storm, and this is a wonderful Melbourne Cup trial. Storm wins it by about 2 lengths. Second, Bullwinkle. I think Quick Ransom will grab 3rd from Cessna, and they were followed by Pindy, Gossips, Toil, and then came Campaign Warrior, Tall Lord, Big Baron, a presser, Richard Cranium, the Phantom Chance. Terrible run. In behind him was Jimmy Dash. Native Zam is a very long last.
Minor consolation there for Greg Hall on Storm, number 15, to pay $5.10 and $2.10 from 1 Bullwinkle, $3.30, and 9 Quick Ransom, showing $2.30.
Number 15 is The Winner Storm, written by Greg Hall and trained by Lee Friedman, who went ever so close with Mahogany in the Cox Plate. And as Neil Longden points out, that is a minor consolation for them, but there might be something bigger just around the corner, because this is one of the best Melbourne Cup trials we've seen of the year. And his effort today was outstanding, considering that under the conditions of the race, he will carry exactly this weight in the Melbourne Cup. He can't be penalised, and that was a win of a racehorse who would easily